gets the kinks ironed out, gets his cash infusion, and off he goes.
Yeah, or at the very least, something on the moon, because that was always going to be kind of the bootstrapping step. You get from here to the moon, and then you use the moon as a jump off point.
Yeah. Or to
Yeah,
lob asteroids at Earth, one of the two.
potato, potato, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's been some things that have been going on. Speaking of Elon, we might as well get into the thing about him and
Yeah.
Twitter X, since that makes a pretty good segue. The European Union decided that they wanted to levy a 140 million euro fine at Elon and Twitter for misinformation, which, over here, misinformation is stuff that's true that is inconvenient for the political class. And in the EU, it's stuff that's true that the political class just doesn't like, finds distasteful. That's their definition of misinformation.
Yeah, and it seems kind of coincidental that that happens during the same week that Trump basically says Europe is an untrusted ally going is going to become an untrusted ally who doesn't have Western values, and then Musk Elon gets fined for $140 million.
Yeah. Oh, luckily they're coming up with something I think called like the Granite Act or something that is if a foreign power decides to try to censor or otherwise use their legal mechanisms to punish an American citizen or an American company, when the American company is engaged in behaviors or practices that do not violate U.S. law, then the United States government will give the full backing for the aggrieved entity in the United States to countersue the foreign entity. And I think it was something like an order of magnitude
Mm-hmm.
for the countersue. So it was like they sue Elon for 140 million euro, and he turns around and countersues them for like 1.4 billion or something like that.
Yeah. Um,
And it's not just him; it's the entire backing of the United States legal system.
do I need to hop up for a second? It sounds like my freaking water softener kicked on. Is that loud in the background?
I can hear it, but it's not.
It's not
It's
distracting.
it's it's noticeable, but it's not like drowning you
All
out
right,
or anything.
it should stop here shortly. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, and to get on that, I looked over that document that Trump put out. Their strategy plan going forward, and I really liked that he brought up something we've been preaching. Let's concentrate on our hemisphere over here in Latin America,
Yeah.
which they bring up the points in it. I mean, it's just been largely ignored. We just kind of been letting whoever feels like it work in Latin America in our backyard and just not even doing anything about it.
Right. We've been too focused on the Middle East and the things going on somewhat in North Africa, whereas our own backyard is on fire.
Yeah. We have the news coming out. Well, you said you've known about it. You're a little more up on stuff than I am, but the news coming out of Venezuela, Maduro's former spy chief. I don't know if it's Maduro's or Chavez's former spy chief sent an open letter to Trump. It was picked up by Trump allies, so you can probably be assured that Trump saw it. And he was basically saying, Venezuela has been fucking with America for the last 3 decades almost.
Hmm. Now, to play devil's advocate, of course, the United States doesn't exactly have clean hands when it comes with the internal affairs of Latin American countries either. But yeah, one of the big allegations about voter fraud in this country is that through electronic voting machines is the main artery that a lot of the voting fraud takes place, and though many, if not all, of the voting machines or the voting machine software is run by a company called Dominion, which was originally a Venezuelan company. And At the time that this was first announced, which was actually, I think, back in like 2016, during that election with Hillary Clinton, there were people kind of sounding the alarm on the potential for voter fraud in that election. And
Mhm.
people were saying that this is a Venezuelan country or a company, that country down there, which is like so socialist, it's like this close to being a communist country. And at that time, a lot of people were sort of like, Venezuela, yeah, right. They're not going to have any impact. This is the United States of America, and some tin pot dictatorship like Venezuela can't possibly have any type of sway in this country's election. And then, surprise, surprise, it turns out that Mike Lindell might not be as crazy as everybody initially
Who's
thinks he
making a
is.
comeback? Isn't he running for some position in Minnesota? Didn't I
Governor.
see that? Yeah, he's running for governor of Minnesota. Apparently, he's not bankrupt and destitute as they would lead you to believe. But yeah, I mean, other stuff in this article. I mean, he basically said everything that we've been suspect of. They're just dumping their criminals into America. Drugs. They they basically are taking the steps that it seems like China would do it if they could get criminals over here. But China dumps drugs into America. Venezuela figured out, just dump drugs and criminals into America and just watch it collapse.
Yeah, they had such a huge prison population because obviously, when you're a socialist slash communist dictatorship, you're going to have a very large concentration of political dissidents. And they wanted to clear their prisons out, and they said, "We'll let you go under one condition: head north."
Mm-hmm.
And again, that was another one of the things that people were like, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. You have no proof of that." And it's actually like, "Oh yeah, actually we do have proof of that because it was facilitated not only by the Venezuelan government and legal system getting them out of their country and on the way north, but we had several NGOs in this country that worked to get them through Panama and up north through Mexico and across our borders." So yeah, it's a conspiracy theory in the sense that it was a conspiracy. Yeah, it's not a theory anymore.
Well, I think we played the video quite a while ago. It was some Middle Eastern country, or maybe it was shared in a group chat. This guy, I can't remember what country, but the guy was talking about the crime rate with some local guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we just
Hmm.
tell him to get out. We send him to Europe."
Yeah, that was Callum, the one of the former hosts of the podcast of the Lotus
Oh
Eaters,
right.
was interviewing guys in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And when he asked them, like, "Hey, there's a lot of guys from Iraq and Syria and places around here that are just complete fuck ups," he's like, "We want to send them back." And the Iraqi guy was like, "No, don't send them back. We kicked them out of this country, not officially kicked them out, but we kind of ran them out because they were useless retards. We don't want them back."
Yeah, and another thing that when they come from these countries with no sort of digital infrastructure or systems of the state, like we're documented from birth to death, of who we are, what we've done, and we get these immigrants coming from countries with nothing like that. I mean, this guy could just make up whatever name. There's no tracking of who they are, what they've done. I mean, it's basically like the Wild West out there.
Yeah.
If they get in trouble for being a pedo in their city, all right, well, I'll just move 3 cities over. I'm good to go. I'll be a
Mhm.
pedo there. And then those are the people that are ending up over here. They show up, cross a border somehow, and they just give some name, who knows, whatever it is, and
And
there they are.
there's lots of video of uh, these people coming across the English Channel getting into Great Britain, and the video is like they're almost to shore, and they will all like ritualistically tear up their passports from their home country and throw them in the English Channel, because without that passport, you don't know who they are. What's
Mm-hmm.
your name? Oh, it's Mohammed, the same as the last 10 guys and the same as the next 10 guys. We're all Mohammed. Well, where'd you come from? I don't know. Where did I come from?
Yeah, and that's what we're ending up with, and it's all coming to light. Um, we've had the Venezuela. I mean, Trend Agua is over here. That was a big. They were trying to say, oh, they're not established. Yeah, they're still dealing with him down in Colorado. Um, I mean, we've got the Somali thing happening in Minnesota. We can get into that one.
That's an excellent
Um,
segue there.
yeah, I mean, perfect example coming from Somalia, a failed state basically. So obviously, there's no record keeping. You have no idea who this person is or what their background is when they show up, and they're just dumped into northern Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's the thing that that's kind of a joke on the internet now is people are making kind of a facetious joke about how Minnesota is the original Somali homeland, and it was promised to them 3,000 years ago. They're making like a very facetious, like Israeli style claim to it, and it's a joke online right now, and that's the thing that is so weird about the Somali thing is you figure if you and your family or even your extended family emigrates to America, you, America's huge. You could go anywhere. Why is there such a huge concentration of Somalis in Minnesota of all places, which is about the exact opposite of the climate of Somalia? And the
Which gets
fact
it gets back into my vitamin D issue that I've brought up.
yeah, you take a population that already has a sub 70 average IQ, and then you throw in a vitamin D deficiency inspired or vitamin D vitamin D deficiency psychosis or
Mm-hmm.
schizophrenia or
Yeah.
whatever it was, and you've got a recipe for disaster. But the thing is like nobody in Somalia is like, I'm going to move to Minnesota in the United. They don't even know where that is. They didn't move to Minnesota. They were placed there, and they were placed there in a significant enough number that they could affect the voting patterns of the area. It's all deliberate.
Yep. Which is starting to backfire on them a little bit, as evidence in the last election.
Yeah, we covered that one.
Um, but yeah, the Somali thing is getting worse and worse. I think they're up to what, $1 billion in fraud at this point.
Almost a billion and a half. I think 1.4 was what I saw the last count was currently, and that is just an astronomical amount of money. It's like they probably could have gotten away with it if they would have just tempered themselves a little bit, but it's like they went all in. So the one that people are mostly pointing to as indicative of the chutzpah behind the Somali thing is a place called the Safari Restaurant that was owned by this guy, and he was open like 5 days a week, and it was just a restaurant. And then during COVID, he filed for the COVID relief and also filed by something called the Meals Plan, where any child that uh, would have normally received a free meal at school was eligible to like take a voucher to participating restaurants and get free meals from there or something like this. And so this guy went to clearing like $12 million or something by saying that he was serving up 5,000 meals every single day or something. And it's like you got greedy. That's how you got caught. You don't go from a couple dozen customers to 5,000 meals served a day. And the thing is that it wasn't like padding your books, like we're going to claim 5,000 meals and we really served 3,500 or
Right.
something. It's like, it was all bullshit.
A couple comments over here too. This one's a little off topic, but it was Hobbs dedicated steel 30 round AR-10 mag. It's happening. They're about the same length as AK-12 30 round by 39 mags. So that's good news for you. Dalton, Georgia, carpet factories have illegal immigrants that go home and replace themselves with a relative. Relative uses the same employee number, just takes their slot. Uh, Lost in the Plains said it's 8 billion current estimate, which is completely bonkers if that's true.
Wow.
I saw something where they were talking about the increase in the spending of some programs. Like there was some housing program. It had averaged about $2.4 million in federal subsidies, and then over the course of like 4 years, it had increased to $104 million. Just crazy shit. Like another one was a food subsidy. It was like 4.8 million, and then it increased up to around 80 million, um, all over the place. And it's looking like it's going to be a top-down sort of corruption thing from our boy
Yeah.
Timmy Walls there. That in Nebraska we're familiar with him. Unfortunately, he's a native Nebraskan who he actually was down the road from me pretty much where he was, and there was whispers of the reason he left was because he did some stuff with a high school student. Uh, but that was all swept under the rug during the presidential campaign. But anybody
Well,
from the town that Tim Walz was at knows what he did. So I don't know how that stayed out of the news.
one of them, one of the other scandals. I mean, I don't want to get off onto a Tim Walz jag here, but now that you bring it up, like his time in the Nebraska National Guard, I read a story the other day about how he is. It is almost 100% that he was feeding classified information to China, specifically on our artillery. The Apparently he was an officer in this National Guard unit when the National Guard unit was first assigned the M109A7 howitzer, the self-propelled
Mhm.
Paladin howitzer. And at that time, and it might even still be so, every bit of documentation about this self-propelled gun was classified. And somebody said, this article said that one day the technical manuals, like the dash 10s, 20s, and 30s, ended up missing from the locker. Like one copy of each was missing from the locker. And then it was only like a year or two later that the PLA in China unveiled their like QBZ 09 or something like that, whatever the name of it was, which is a near one-to-one copy of the 109 howitzer.
Yeah, and it just so happened Tim Walz had been taking trips to China.
Exactly.
He's one of those perfect examples of captured politicians that there's so much dirt on them and they just seem to be getting more and more power that
Hmm.
somebody is pulling strings on them because they don't want to get found out.
And he's checking all of the boxes, isn't he? Some gay pedophile scandal, giving classified information to our number one geopolitical foe. I mean, he's just, compromised in all the
Yeah,
directions.
the DNC has a folder about an inch thick on that guy and get him to do whatever they need him to do,
Yeah.
which might tie into the whole Somali thing.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
why
Shove.
would somebody go along with that when it's so obvious the embezzlement they're doing? Well, they're like, Timmy, you got to do this, or we're going to let this info leak out.
Right. There's another angle that it comes at. You got the gay pedophile scandal, you got giving classified information to China, and now you have embezzling taxpayer funds to the tune of potentially billions of dollars. At many of those dollars ended up in the hands of Al Shabaab, a literal terrorist organization.
Yeah, and the it's his own party that's calling him out on it now too. The attorney general of Minnesota, I forget his name. Is it Ellison?
Keith Ellison.
Keith Ellison. Yeah, I mean he's been elbow deep in the Democrat Party for a while, and even he's starting to throw him under the bus.
That's because I think he just wants his job.
Probably. Um, so yeah, I don't think Walls is going to survive this one. I
Dude.
saw the directive put out by Dr. Oz, who is in charge of Medicare and Medicaid stuff at this point. I mean, he gave him an ultimatum that you fix it or your money's cut off. Find out what happened, fix it, or your money's cut off. Which that's bad news for a state.
Well, I think that in the case of this, where there's such overwhelming evidence, both, in the open and circumstantial evidence of this degree of taxpayer fraud is taking place, I think the first step is to cut the money off
Yeah,
and then do the investigation. so that they can't get any more of it out, and then
Yeah,
you
and
don't
that
have
that
to like.
money will filter into the state. I mean, it's going. Think about how much money. I mean, the state of Minnesota's probably been treating this like a piggy bank.
Oh yeah, not the state of Minnesota, the state of Somalia.
Well, both. Yeah. Well, they call there's areas of Minnesota they call it Little Mogadishu, not jokingly, like with pride.
Yeah, but I mean like the literal country of
Oh
Somalia
yeah.
seems to have been treating Minnesota as a piggy bank because one of the things that I watched today, the where I got the 1.4 billion dollar number from, and if our commenter's right and it's up to 8 billion, this makes it even worse. The entire national budget of Somalia is about 1.4 billion dollars. So if they were embezzling 1.4 billion from Minnesota, they were essentially more than the entire budget of the country that this money is going to, which is
Which I wasn't aware. I haven't kept up on my Somalia news for some reason. But do they even have a government at this point? I wasn't aware they had formed a government yet. Even
I'm pretty sure that Somalia's government is probably a government in the same sense that Haiti's government is a government. It, it's something you could point to, but
some guy named
as
Barbecue's running the joint. Is that
yeah, yeah,
Colonel Barbecue?
right, yeah. Yeah, and like the amount of cope that you're seeing from Somalia, I mean, it makes the Indians look humble in how it's going about because the Somalis are out there talking about, oh, we're succeeding, and Americans are just jealous about how great Somalis are doing in this country, and it's like, well, one, stealing and embezzling taxpayer money to enrich yourself is not succeeding.
Mhm.
That's just theft. And two, if it's so easy, go be successful over there.
Yeah, congratulations to them on figuring it out. I guess some the other people coming from shithole countries didn't have the vision to do that. But you know, it it's one of those things where I mean, you got to keep digging. There's no way a bunch of Somali immigrants came up with this scheme. It's gotta have a bunch of guys in tiny hats behind. I mean, it just really seems like tiny hat strategy to me.
At the top of the pyramid, there's a very small hat, and it just trickles down to light bulb headed dysgenics from the third world.
Somewhere in here, Israel is meddling in Somalia, and this was how they were getting the money. It's got to be linked.
We will find those connections. By God, they are there.
We know they're there. I mean, it's obviously every time we have something like this come up, it ends up that way. I mean, we know it's there. Just like to see where the dots connect at.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing as what was going on with a lot of the South American immigration fraud, where a lot of people were coming up from South America. They don't speak English. They don't read English. A lot of times they don't even read or write Spanish. They're absolutely destitute, and yet they come to this country and they manage to get all of the welfare that they're not supposed to be able to qualify for. They somehow go from being semi-illiterate non-English speakers to being masters of American bureaucracy and paperwork overnight. And it turns out that it's organizations like Catholic Charities and the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society that's doing all of the work for them. So you're probably spot on that somewhere along the lines, it's not that a bunch of sub 70 IQ Africans came over here and suddenly became like better at American bureaucratic paperwork than a sovereign citizen who's been doing it for his entire life. No, they probably came over here and there was some domestic NGO that did all of the hard work for them and told them how to do it.
Well, I mean, the primary one that I mean, it was Lutheran Social Services, which is not Lutheran. I don't even think they're a Christian organization. I don't know how they grabbed on to that and made them seem like they were a church organization settling poor refugees. But I'm going to guess we're going to find some weird ties in that one too. Um, that that's always being a Lutheran. It's always sickened me that is what's tied to the Somali immigration. Um, but yeah, there's got to be some shady stuff going on there. Also,
Yeah,
I mean, under the guise of religion is how they resettled a lot of them.
yeah. There's Martin Luther had a lot to say about certain demographics and their lies.
And yeeting them off bridges, I believe, is what his solution was.
Yes, and he didn't have very kind words for the Mohammedans either.
No, based Luther. They those need to be more mainstream. I'm waiting for those to start popping up on Instagram. In addition to all the Austrian painter speeches that we're seeing get translated and pushed around Instagram, we need a Martin Luther revival of things he used to say.
I've seen a few already, and I'm sure that it will only grow.
Had a couple comments. Barbecue runs Haiti. Flambe runs Somalia.
Fair enough.
Let's see. We had that. We had um, I just lost what I was going to say. Uh, Hold on. I had a note here on it. Sorry. Um, we had the bringing it back domestic. We had the J6 bomber.
Yeah, so this one here has me a little bit confused because 2 weeks ago it was a Butch Dyke Capitol Police turned CIA contractor, and this week it's a scrawny, nerdy black guy whose parents run a bail bond business. So
Yeah, that seemed pretty weird. Um, I mean, they had this chick tracked down to being. I don't know. This whole thing is weird. Why are they finding him now? I mean, obviously it wasn't that hard. They could have found him the whole time. Um, you'd think if they were finding him, he was one of those crazy furry trans leftists that, but this guy is not.
he is a
Um,
BLM adherent,
yeah,
and his dad did sue the Trump administration, the DOJ, over something. And like I said, his parents run like a bail bond business or something, to which essentially is to get people out of jail that probably should be in jail. So seems like a politically active left wing family. But what you mentioned is absolutely correct. Like, what took so long to find this guy? Because apparently, the evidence now that is pointing to this guy is overwhelming.
hmm
Video, cell phone towers, purchase histories, just everything points to this
they
guy.
raided his house and he still had bomb making materials in his house. It's like, what? Why would you
It
sit on that?
seems.
What are they calling
eh,
bomb making materials? He had some fireworks and a chunk of pipe sitting in the garage. I don't.
I don't know, man. So this whole thing seems very suspicious because, like, are they just trying to deflect from the Capitol Police slash CIA contractor woman? Are they trying to point this guy out as a patsy because the left are not the only ones who can concoct red herring bullshit
Right.
to drag the opposite political side? Because one of the very first things that popped up when this guy got the finger pointed at him to being the J6 suspect was, oh, we were told that this was a right wing white supremacist potential terror attack that got thwarted, and look, it's a black guy and he's a leftist, and it's like, seems
Yeah.
a little
And
too perfect, a little too convenient.
nobody still thinks those bombs were
No.
the kitchen timer set for.
Yeah. I'm going to plant this timer that has a threshold of 1 hour, 21 hours before opening day or whatever. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's like, why do they pin this guy? Or is it just to, yeah, it makes you wonder if he just picked to, just close the door on it. so they could say, "Oh, look, we did something."
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody that believes he's the real guy that did it.
Yeah, the amount of investigating that Steve Baker over at Blaze did to point the finger at the Capitol police officer lady, just to have this kind of get dropped in his lap and be like, no, it wasn't her. It was actually this black nerdy guy. Uh, if he Okay, so one of the ways that I think that we can be fairly certain that the official story is bullshit is going to be if Steve Baker at Blaze gets sued for defamation and libel by this
Oh yeah,
Capitol
he put
police
her on
officer.
blast. I mean, if I was
Yeah.
her and it wasn't me, I'd be pissed.
If that doesn't happen, you're going to know that the official story is bullshit and it's probably her.
Yeah, like the whole like Candace Owens and the Macron thing.
Yeah.
That just they had what, one court hearing and then it went, they dropped it.
Yeah. Which she's gotten kind of schizo in the last couple of months or whatever. But that Brigitte Macron thing was fascinating watching.
Yeah, I mean that was an easy one to prove. I mean, they could have had the court hearing. She comes out with the DNA test. Bam, it's over. But they didn't even get that far. They just dropped it.
Yeah, lots of anomalies in that case, and it's one of the things that I think Candace Owens might have been onto.
Well, and she had the turning point thing too. You know, that was big, and that ended up getting just dropped. Turning Point
Yeah.
changed her mind on that one too. I mean, we say she's on a schizo bent, but she doesn't seem to be getting proved wrong.
Oh, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with like Nick Fuentes or Andrew Tate. It's like you can say some stuff that's really smart and has a great point, but you can say it in a certain way that nobody takes you seriously.
Yeah, and that's probably that's about where she's at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, after the Charlie Kirk thing, she kind of went a little
yeah,
off the rails, but it's understandable from her viewpoint. Um, but yeah, you know, you got that bomber. Um, Great point about the Blaze stuff. Yeah, we'll have to see if he gets sued
yeah,
because it just seems so. Her accusing her, it seemed like it made sense. You know,
mm,
if she would have been doing it, would have made sense. You know, there was this stupid, shitty bomb that wouldn't have gone off. Well, because she didn't want it to go off. It was just there to create the image. But this guy's story, it's they're trying to make it like he was some sort of evil super bomber sticking these things around the Capitol and he was going to sow chaos.
yeah. It's much less believable.
I mean,
That if
it doesn't pass Occam's razor. The other one does.
Yeah, if he wanted to make it seem like this was a white supremacist, Trump supporting MAGA plot, he wouldn't have planted one behind the RNC.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been strictly targeted at the DNC. And when this J6 pipe bomber story first came out, uh, Bongino on his show, one of his producers behind the scenes, he just flat out said, "This feels like a plan B."
Mm-hmm.
And Bongino was like, "Wow, that's probably the most insightful." He's like, "Yeah, it does. It feels like a plan B. It feels like the the pipe bombs were placed so that if they could not goad the crowds into attacking the Capitol, then plan B would have been, oh, hey, we found these pipe bombs. MAGA are terrorists."
Yeah,
And
martial law time.
yeah, and the no, how do you want to say it? Like the since the people did attack the Capitol, we were probably never meant to know about the pipe bomb's existence at all, and it just slipped containment. And then the story kind of evolved to where the pipe bombs might actually have been plan A, and it just so happened that the protesters got into the Capitol and they're like, "Oh, this is actually much better optically than
Mhm.
a cheesy fake pipe bomb with an egg timer on it that looks like a prop from a bad low budget movie." Uh, Several thousand protesters storming the steps of the Capitol is much better quality.
And the other thing with this guy is even the left kind of seems happy, I guess, that this guy was caught because they're saying, "Oh, see, all everybody on the right is a crazy conspiracy theorist. They've been saying, it was an inside job, blah blah blah, but no, like, is this guy here?"
Yeah,
A couple comments. If the evidence is overwhelming, then they had the evidence 5 years ago. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
what was that bullshit thing they were saying that they lost all the cell tower evidence, or they said
very well
Verizon,
did.
yeah, Verizon gave them corrupted data, and Verizon's like, what? Fuck you, no, we didn't. They said it was fine.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like we didn't give you corrupted data. We didn't give you any data because you didn't ask for any data.
uh, Over under on the frogs actually trying to kill her. Not sure what the
That'd be
missed that.
the French trying to
Oh
assassinate
yeah,
Venezuelans.
yeah. That I forgot about that. That was schizo posting. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, she was like pleading for help from the Trump administration because she had inside info the French were going to try to assassinate her.
I mean, there's probably more dangerous opponents you could make. It is the French.
Beat her with a stale baguette. I thought the original part of the bomb said they were fake bombs, but I might be misremembering. Um, I think that was a narrative for a little while. I kind of remember that too. When they released some pictures of them, they're like, "Yeah, see, they're fake." It was train. Oh, they were saying they were training aids for the dogs
Yeah,
they were using before the event. Which,
yeah,
when you saw the bombs, it's like, "Oh yeah, that's obviously a training aid. It's an egg
yeah,
timer on a piece of pipe."
yeah. Look, it looks like when you visualize homemade bomb, it's like you got some Looney Tunes shit, where it's like a bundle of dynamite with a clock on it or something like that, which is exactly what this thing was. It was like a pipe and a couple of wires and an egg timer.
Let me see if I can
And
find a picture of him here. Yeah. Um, I haven't seen that picture in a while, but yeah, it was floating around.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a cartoonish, exaggerated. It's like you look at it and like, oh, that's a bomb because it's supposed to look like what you would think a bomb looks like. And most of those training aids will have like a small amount of black powder, like actual black powder will be inside of it, but it won't have any kind of a detonator or anything because the idea is that you want to have something in there that the dog will alert on.
I mean, there you can kind of see it's an egg timer with some alligator clips going inside a chunk of pipe, and it looks like it's held on there with duct tape.
Yeah, cartoon bomb.
I mean, I may have dabbled in some of that stuff in Minecraft, and that it's close to what an actual thing you could do. Um, it it may work, but it's not something you would want to trust your life to hooking it up. That's for sure.
Yeah,
The way that's designed, with the alligator clamps and all your metals exposed, you're one static shock away from excitement on that one.
having a very bad time.
Yeah. Now you see why it's funny you never expect a French Foreign Legion kill team.
Yeah, yeah, there you are right. You know, we make jokes about France, but the French Foreign Legion is typically not an entity one wants to fuck with.
Yeah. Uh,
They're they're in a different league.
yeah, you don't hear much about them, but yeah, their history and their training is harsh to say the least. They may have some actual killers. But yeah, that's where it is, that J6 story. I guess we'll wait and see what
Hmm.
what they try him with. Wait and see if that guy gets
Yeah.
hit with defamation.
Yep. Just keep your ears and eyes open for talks of Steve Baker from The Blaze getting hit with defamation and slander or libel.
Yeah, and the weird thing is too when they had the videos, the high def videos, it definitely looked like a female build. You know,
Hmm.
um, had a bit of a pear shape, and now it's a skinny black man.
Which, if you are going to go from the accused being a bull dyke woman to a man, you would want a slender built man because that'll be the closest that you can get to a feminine form. Like you could be like, oh yeah, it's a wearing baggy clothes, a slim man, and a kind of butchy woman are fairly close.
Yeah, I guess if you're black, you might be a little thick in the ass department, even if you're a guy. So it might match up a little better.
Yeah.
The other thing going on domestically was the double tap controversy with the drug boat. Um,
Oh yeah, that shit.
I mean, that's not a good look at all. The stories talk about changing stories. I mean, how many times has this one changed?
Yeah, probably like 10 years ago, maybe even less than that, I would have given a principled and impassioned argument about while what they are doing in the Venezuelan boats is wrong, what we are doing is no better, and two wrongs don't make a right, and this is government overreach, and blah, 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 blah. But now I have become so cynical and so black pilled that my sympathy for these guys, my cup is dry.
Yeah. My main problem with it is, like I said, how much they're changing the story up. If they fucking double tap the guys, they should have just said that from the get go. Yeah, we fucking double tapped them. Our bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it started out, no, we didn't do that. Well, maybe we did do that, but the guy was acting on his own accord. Well, no, he wasn't acting on his own accord. It was fog of war.
Yeah.
They were radioing for help. Oh, wait, they didn't have radios. Pete said we should do it. I don't even know what the current story is on why it happened. It just looks bad now.
Yeah. Just get a story and stick with it. And if you're going to be out there, renaming yourself the Department of War and having all of these like macho ads and social media posts and all of this other stuff, then just own the kill 'em all mentality. Like if that's the image that you're going to put out there in your advertisements and your social media posts, then just own it. It's like, yeah, yeah, we blew them up. They were still scrambling. I said kill them all. We killed them all.
And look, obviously, America's done this shit before. I mean, we've been in Iraq and Afghanistan for the last 3 decades. Surely this situation has popped up before, which is shitty to say, but this is nothing new as far as the way our military's been operating. And I think the main story is just the fact that it kept changing.
Yeah. Yeah, oftentimes like the cover up or the attempt at the cover up is more of a scandal than the actual thing that actually happened. And one of the comparisons that I've seen being drawn is Obama double tapping terrorist targets in Iraq and
Oh
Afghanistan
yeah,
with drone
wedding
strikes.
thing, the wedding thing. Remember that
Well,
one?
there was that, but there was also people are. I've seen lists of confirmed instances where you would drone strike a target, and then the first responders would show up, and you would drone strike them, and it was not because you thought that the first responders were in on the terrorism. It was because you wanted to dissuade first responders from showing up to these targets in the future. So it's like you do this 2 or 3 times, and the paramedics in this area are going to be like, "Oh, there was a missile, a Hellfire missile struck a wedding or a convoy or a compound. I'm not going out there."
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If this had happened and they said, "Yeah, we fucking double tapped them. We didn't want any survivors," everybody like, "Oh, okay, well, guess they fucking mean business. That sucks."
Yeah, it's
But
that's kind of shitty.
this wishy washy shit they're doing. Um, I mean, it would have been better off if they had made some stupid ensign a fall guy and cleared him later. Like, oh yeah, fucking Ensign Snuffy Smith got a little trigger happy. That fucking guy's in deep shit. Sorry.
Give them an Article 15 and 50% paycheck for a couple of weeks and barracks restriction, and he'll be mopping the deck of the aircraft carrier for the foreseeable future. That will be his punishment for getting a little ambitious on the trigger. Yeah, it's the sort of thing that kind of happens in the military sometimes. You're just having fun on the joystick. Looks like we lost Ben, but yeah, he's absolutely correct. The scandal seems to have shifted from our government is extrajudicially killing foreign nationals in international water over drug smuggling to now it's they're doing that and they're pussyfooting around about the fact. Um, and it's like I said, you just own it. Just own the fact that yes, these scumbags were killing them, and we're going to keep killing them until they stop or somebody makes us stop. And that seems to be what they're not doing. They're doing the exact opposite. Which, on the one hand, I understand that politics is a good deal PR centric, and even in the age of bombism like Trump, people are still going to try and get this kinder, gentler approach to politics, or try to sugarcoat things or make things seem to be
My
really.
power glitched out there. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I, I,
No,
I
I'm
kept
just
it
saying,
going.
yeah, yeah, the Snuffy Smith thing. I mean, give him Article 15. Then when he gets off, he's got 100% disability, an honorable discharge, and somehow a brand new vehicles in his brand new house.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, that whole situation, and it's still going. The story, I saw it change a couple days ago again. So it's going to end up being a scandal of their own doing, just because they didn't have the guts to say what was actually going on.
An unforced error.
An unforced error. Yep. And
Stepping on a rake.
yep. And the left is just running with it. You know, I did see a good thing about the military. Some of the changes that Hexeth did, they're being more agile with how they're doing their new weapon systems. And yesterday they unveiled that they're exploring just using mass cheap drones to flood the zone when they go into combat now, to just
Hmm.
over the, their anti-air systems won't know what to pick for a target.
Yeah.
And I got thinking, this shows how some better thinking gets in place, and it can disrupt the military industrial complex. Because here's a solution: you could build a multi-billion-dollar stealth airplane that can bypass radar, or you could build 1,000
Yeah.
$250 drones that has the same effect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's two approaches to the same problem, and it's good. On one hand, it's good to see that they're taking the more fiscally responsible. But on the other hand, I hate drone warfare so
Yeah,
much.
I don't think it's going away.
Oh
I
no.
think I think we've had a complete generational. This is getting a little off topic, but we're getting towards the end. But we've had like a generational change in how warfare is done, which previously we've had to go through major world war to do. After World War One, everything changed. World War Two, everything changed. I
Mm,
mean, the whole system is changed again. It's
Yep.
going to come down to drones and autonomous. And fortunately, at this point, we've phased into it without having a major war, unless you count Ukraine.
Yeah.
Which, if you've seen how that's evolved, I mean, it's basically just drones at this point flying across each
Yeah.
side. I guess there's a 10-kilometer no-go zone that's just covered in fiber optic cables at this point, where if you even peek your head out, you're smacked by a drone
Yeah.
and artillery. That's all it is anymore.
Yeah. It's so lame and gay. Like, what is the point of getting in shape? What is the point of practicing rifle marksmanship? What is the point of any SOPs if everything is going to devolve down to some nerd with an FPV headset and 15 minutes of training is going to completely undo your entire life of training and discipline and physical fitness and equipment and being a high speed operator operating operationally, and you get murked by a geek with a suicide drone.
Well,
It's
I'm
just
just surprised our military adapted so quick. I mean, they had like new tanks ready to be drawn up. Like, nope, get rid of. Nope, that's
yep.
that's not happening.
Yep, the M10 Booker was looking like it was going to be a solution to a problem that nobody had, and then that got the kibosh.
Yeah, our Navy ships are like, nope, littoral combat. Nope, not going to happen. Anything within a coast is getting smacked by a drone. That's done.
Yeah, I dream of the resurgence of battleships with coastal bombardment capability.
I mean, if we can get a working anti-drone system, that's probably where we're gonna get back to. I mean, already seen artillery is king again, or
Hmm.
queen. Artillery is the queen,
Yep.
and so coastal bombardment with anti-drone systems is probably the way to go because you don't want to get near that coast at all.
A 16-inch gun has a remarkable over-the-horizon range.
But I saw the Russians are developing. They've got submarine drones at this point. It'll be interesting to see the next powers that get in a fight that have functional navies, how that evolves with drone warfare.
Yeah.
But somebody commented, Lost in the Plains. We ended up with the Franklin meme out of the whole situation, so that's funny in reference to that.
Yes, the Canadian publishers of the Franklin children's books just Streisand affected themselves into getting memed on hard, and Franklin targets narco terrorists, and
Yeah, Franklin's everywhere now.
yeah, which is good. Those books are wholesome and cute.
Yeah, I saw that he even popped up on a Lutheran meme page that I'm on. Franklin, he did something to Catholics. I can't remember what it was. Oh no, yeah, Franklin joins an LCMS church. So yeah, he's popping up everywhere now. Franklin resurgence.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, we hit on everything this week. Got a lot of topic on drone warfare, but we've kind of been going back and forth on that one with the Ukraine war. I think you were holding out hope that war wouldn't get retarded and gay and just evolve into drones, but I think that's what's happened since the American military's gone all in on drones at this point.
Yeah. Oh, we weren't the first to do it. I think China was ahead of the game on the drone stuff, embracing it. But we've decided that we were gonna do it. Um, yeah. So here I'm sitting here, like looking at my pile of tactical gear and guns over there, wondering like, what's the point anymore?
Yeah, you just need a DJI drone and a bunch of shotguns. Apparently, that's a future of warfare.
Yeah, I hate it. I feel like how a knight must have felt in the Middle Ages when primitive firearms or like really powerful heavy crossbows came out, and you could just hand one of these things to some illiterate peasant, and now suddenly knight on horseback in plate mail with a lance and a sword who's dedicated his entire life to martial prowess just gets unseated by some dirty peasant with an arquebus or something.
Like the samurai during the what is it, the Meiji Restoration in
E-
Japan.
Exactly the same thing. Now you've got Green Berets or Spetsnaz or whatever special forces high speed operators are being completely bodied by $25 Chinese fiber optic drones and the greasy nerds who
That's
wield
what
them.
I've seen. It's like small group. They're trying to sneak in small groups, three under clouds of drones, and that's what it's worked its way down to.
I hate
So
it.
so tune in next week when we review drones and shotguns for your
I'm,
to update your armory.
I am bitter. I am cynical. My day is ruined and my disappointment is immeasurable.
So yeah, if you like the show, make sure you follow us on everything. We're on Facebook. Don't post there much. Maybe someday it will quit being retarded and gay, and we'll be back. We're on YouTube, Roads and Number Two Liberty, Rumble, Roads and Number Two Liberty. Also, uh, X, you find us at R2L Pod at Twatter,
On
uh,
Twitter.
on Twatter, and you can find us on. We have some merch links: Roads and Number Two Liberty.com, AlexJonesStore.com/R2L. You can find all the Alex Jones merch. If you order from there, we get a bit of a kickback. Good products on there. So we will be back next week. Let's see. For the next 2 weeks, we should be going. Unless something pops up, we'll try and post somewhere so you guys know. So thanks for joining me and Hobbs, and stay honky.
'Tis the